starting this video off with a little PSA. Tip your fucking servers. Alright? Like, I don't know, we deserve it. But welcome back to the Immune Script. My name's Immune, and yeah, you already knew that. But, I'm talking about food service. Man, I have worked in the food service off and on for about 7 years, and that's even crazy to think about just in general. But regardless, I'm just kind of giving my thoughts because, man, it is one of the industries that does not get nearly the amount of respect it deserves. And you hear everybody talking about that, but, I'm just gonna give my thoughts and opinions and such, and it can be one of the most rewarding jobs, but man, you have to deal with some of the worst people imaginable. And I'm not even just saying that because, I got off a bad shift or anything like that, but I'm just talking like, some of your coworkers, because a lot of the entry-level positions, right, they can be, you can get some of the coolest people that are just looking for their first job or just a job in general, but then you can find some folks that, like, this was their last option, and man, they are miserable. But, that's neither here nor there, but with, dealing with these folks, and handling the situations and the constant, backlash that you can get from people, it is not very great. Believe it or not, being treated poorly doesn't make you feel the best. I was saying this before, but it can be one of the most rewarding situations too. You can meet some of the coolest people imaginable. Like one of our new cooks at the place that I'm at is, he had, video documentaries, written about him, and, like, in a good way. And just all of that stuff, and that's so cool to me, being able to see that they had a point in time where everything was going on, and now they can just sit back and relax and, flip pancakes on a grill if they want to. For a little bit of context, I am a server at a diner in the town that I'm at. I'm not saying anything else because, safety. But at this diner, it's a very fun time. I enjoy my job. I know I'm good at it. I know that, I do good work, but some of these folks, and I can they just treat you like kind of garbage. What I was saying as well is, I kind of want to go back on what I was saying was like tip your servers, right? You can absolutely do that. Your servers deserve all the love in the world if they're doing their job correctly. There is such a thing as bad service, but when you're getting good service or, a positive service, you should at least give that information or, because not everybody has enough to tip, and I totally understand that. It's not, a lot of folks that I've talked to are like, if they don't tip, why even go out in the first place? And it's because the people deserve a good meal, But I will say, make sure that you are appreciative of your server. Don't be the folks that, if you are going to double down on just being awful and then not tip, no, I don't know, man. At the same time as well, again, it's not necessary. It's not, it obviously depends on your state as well and the minimum wage and everything like that. I myself am in a state that does give a mandatory minimum wage, that is a livable wage, rather than a server wage, which is crazy. It is a really, it's a blessing that I have, to be able to do that and know that anything I make additionally is, it's, going to be added on top and something I can set aside or whatever, it's a very generous position I have, and I acknowledge that. However, I also do acknowledge the fact that I deserve a little bit of respect. Everybody deserves respect, especially when I'm running food, when I'm managing, 5, 6, sometimes even 9 tables of people and making sure they're having a good experience with me. Especially with my previous experience in the pizza shop, I would get so many folks that think that they knew so much more than I did, and it's just a question on who is working here, man. Okay, I'm talking about a lot of the negatives, but I really want to just give my thoughts on some of the coworker stuff as well. You meet some of the coolest folks. I already mentioned the one chef that I was had some interactions with, but I made some lifelong friends just hanging out and just shooting the shit. Because that's what, if you have a good crew, you can shoot the shit and do your job and, make sure that everything's good. A lot of people have, every job has the manager that's like, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, or anything like that. But, you've also got the folks that are like, if you're talking, you should be working. And why can't you do both? Why can't you make it a pleasant environment with everybody else in your area and just enjoy what you do? At the end of the day, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it is me saying this, that if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. But if you do not enjoy your what you do, leave immediately and never look back. Always look to better yourself and make sure that in any point in time that you are able to enjoy what you do, because you deserve it. And if you can't do it in that moment, always look for the opportunity to push yourself forward into a new position that will allow you to enjoy what you do. Working isn't supposed to be miserable, and a lot of people hate their job. A lot of people hate their job. Let that sink in. I have never had a job that I have felt miserable at, and that is because I've always looked for a position that I can succeed in and enjoy. And, obviously, I want to make it very clear that some people have situations where they need to put themselves in an area where it is going to be uncomfortable, and that is perfectly fine. But I also am in strong belief that you can always look on the upside about a situation, about a job, and make sure that you are enjoying what you do. There is always that opportunity. And, I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. Make sure you respect one another. I guess that's the moral of this. Respect and cherish everybody that you interact with, because everybody deserves respect. Especially the individuals that you don't know the full story about. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, in the comments if I missed anything or whatever. My name's Immune. Don't wear it out, and I'll catch you the next time I want to ramble.